Well, hey, good morning to you. We are in the wilderness. We are down at the Niagara River right here, leading into the Lake of the Ozarks near Tonka State Park, but we are completely isolated in these woods. This is the place that the Spirit has led me to then preach about where the Spirit had led Jesus into the wilderness, because we're going through the book of Matthew verse by verse. It's incredibly important we do this thing. The church is completely ignorant to the teachings of Jesus Christ, not in what they say, but in what they do. If you were to just judge them on what they do, you would, many argue, they kind of seem to be doing more of the works of Satan than of Jesus. And so it's important that we not jump onto that train, that we be sons of God, not sons of the devil, and we understand what is it we're supposed to be doing. How should we be behaving? I'm not preaching salvation through works, but what I am preaching is if the Spirit dwells within, then you're naturally going to be doing the things that Jesus asks us to do. It's very clear and plain in his words what we're supposed to do, so this is no mystery. It's just important we study it out and understand it, because what churches will do is they'll just grab like Jesus will have a conversation that goes on for 2 or 3 chapters, and they'll grab one little verse and they'll be like, oh, here's some deep understanding of this one little verse, not just completely taking it out of context of the whole conversation, which is why it's important we go through it verse by verse. And as we go through this book, we're at that place where Jesus has been led off into the wilderness by the Holy Spirit to be tempted by the devil. And we're just going to pick it up right there. Matthew 4, starting in verse 1. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterwards he was hungry. Now when the tempter came to him, he said, if you are the Son of God, command these stones to become bread. All right, I'm going to pause there, because what the devil is leading with is, well, if you are the Son of God. So let's talk about him being the Son of God for a moment. This is an incredibly important title that you can't just roll over. He just said it. He just happened to say it. I mean, just a few verses earlier, as he's getting baptized, then Jesus, when he had been baptized, came up immediately from the water, and behold, the heavens were opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting upon him, and suddenly a voice came from heaven saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterwards he was hungry. Now when the tempter came to him, he said, if you are the Son of God. So this is very significant, because ultimately Jesus has only heard 2 voices in 40 days, one from God and one from the devil. Right when he's baptized, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Then immediately he's led off into the wilderness, where he's alone for 40 days and 40 nights. And then suddenly afterwards, if you are the Son of God. So how is it the devil questions Jesus's sonship, so to say? What is it about this position that's so incredibly important? Because it's the same authority that the devil wants, and it's very, very significant. So we're going to go to Mark 9, starting verse 2. And after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up on a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them. His clothes became shining, exceedingly white like snow, such as no launder on earth can whiten them. And Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. Then Peter answered and said to Jesus, Rabbi, it is good for us to be here. And let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Because he did not know what to say, for they were greatly afraid. And a cloud came and overshadowed them. A voice came out of the cloud saying, this is my beloved Son, hear him. Suddenly, when they had looked around, they saw no one anymore, but only Jesus with themselves. And even here, there's this proclamation, this is my Son. It's important that we understand that there are things that God is going to do to the world, to the universe, to heaven, that he's going to do. But there's only so many people or other spiritual entities that have the authority to do such things. Jesus and the Holy Spirit being really the only two. But it's important that we understand that Jesus was the Son of God so he can be that lamb that was slain. It's very important we understand this. If we go to Revelation 5, and I saw in the right hand of him who sat on the throne a scroll written inside and on the back, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and to loose its seals?" And no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll or to look at it. So I wept much, because no one was found worthy to open and read the scroll or to look at it. But one of the elders said to me, "Do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, had prevailed to open the scroll and to loose its 7 seals. And I looked, and behold, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 living creatures and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb, as though it had been slain." Is the moment in time when Jesus gives that blood offering to God to pay our debt, to then open the scroll and move forward into advancing the kingdom of heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, this whole book, the whole thing, from Genesis 1:1 to the very end, is all about one single thing. It's about the coming of a kingdom. It's about the advancement of the kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven, while the devil, his 6 generals, and a third of the angels try to stop this thing from happening. That's why it's so incredibly important that we understand what it is Jesus is saying and doing, because it is a war that is taking place, and it is over you, it is over me, it is over all of humanity, but it is designed specifically to seek power and be like God here on earth. So the enemy seeks to destroy us, and it is only the blood of the Lamb that has allowed these things to progress forward, that has allowed us to continue to advance the kingdom of heaven. So the righteous shall be righteous and be called the sons of God. So those who are unrighteous will not be righteous, and they will be called the sons of the devil. It is a war taking place, and Jesus is right now about to be tempted in the middle. It's like the battlefront right there with Jesus and the devil. It is ground zero is what we're looking at here. And it's incredibly important that we understand that this is the moment in time that Jesus resists the devil so he can move forward into his ministry to advance the kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven. It's the same thing we need to do. We need to not be advancing our own kingdom. I mean, therein lies the problem with the church. Like, build a bigger church, get more people, get more seats, get more guitars, get more smoke machines, get more money. It's building your own kingdom. You have to advance his kingdom. Where did Jesus do it? He did it in the middle of the wilderness. Like, in the middle of the wilderness, he is literally advancing the kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven.